What's up everyone? So graphics cards under $100 are generally a hit or miss. Ironically, they have one of the worst price to performance ratios, second only to enthusiast grade GPUs such as the Titan X or the Titan XP. And now that's for a number of reasons. There are usually better graphics cards that jump a tier or two tiers in performance for only a little bit more. They generally skimp out on a few things such as VRAM, and they're generally pretty underpowered for the price. Here with me today is the GT 1030, NVIDIA's sub $100 video card that's marketed for ultra budget enthusiasts and rivals AMD's RX 550 that was released a couple weeks earlier. For $70, it looks like a compelling purchase on the surface, but does it fit the model of the stereotypical ultra budget video card? The first thing I notice about the video card is its size. This video card is small. I mean, it would fit in the palm of a slightly above average sized hand, and I understand why. It's a low profile card that does not need much cooling. MSI launched a passively cooled version along with 5 other versions, which why they did that is way beyond me, but I digress. But even compared to the 750 Ti low profile that I use in my Ozbox, it's pretty small. Specifications wise, the GT 1030 has a 1468 boost clock, a 3000 MHz memory clock, and 2 GB of VRAM. It does not support SLI nor G-Sync, but it does support GPU boost, Vulkan, and DirectX 12. It's also rated at only 30 watts of power. Before I dive into my thoughts on how this video card fits into the market, I want to go straight into the benchmarks. The test bench used was an R5 1400 at 3.9 GHz with 16 GB of DDR4 memory, clocked at 2933, and Windows 10 64-bit. I tested mostly eSport and ladder titles because based on the price alone, I'd imagine most people would not purchase this video card for anything more than that. But to spice things up, I threw Battlefield 1 and GTA 5 into the mix. The final benchmark list, including PC games, is Overwatch, Smite, CSGO, GTA 5, and Battlefield 1. Here they are. So I was pleasantly surprised with the GT 1030's performance overall. Now I kind of assumed that it would do well in eSport titles, but I was not expecting it to do as well as it did in AAA titles such as GTA 5 and Battlefield 1. There is one issue with this card. Well, there are several issues with this card, but one big one is the VRAM. 2 GB of VRAM limits graphic fidelity. A prime example includes not having the ability to improve GTA's texture detail past the normal setting because it utilizes more than 2 GB of VRAM. It's not a huge deal simply because the 1030 does not have enough power to truly drive GTA 5 with high textures, but VRAM limitations might be an issue with future games. Now I know somebody said this before me, I can't really remember who, but it's pretty much the idea that not a lot of games use up to 4 GB of VRAM, but a lot of games use more than 2 GB of VRAM. So you can see that the VRAM is probably going to be a limitation later on. So while the 1030 lacks raw power compared to slightly more expensive video cards, it shines in efficiency. The maximum temperature recorded while benchmarking was 62 degrees Celsius, and that was when the fans were spinning at 50%. And just in case you didn't notice, the fan on that video card is pretty tiny, so it's not the best cooler in the world, but obviously enough for this card. Noise was not an issue at all. If you're gaming, it will be almost inaudible. Power consumption was also great. With an overclocked 1400 and overclocked memory, the system drew 55.4 watts of power at its peak right after logging into Windows. During the GTA 5 benchmark, the system peaked at 138 watts. The entire computer utilizes under 200 watts, and most of that power is due to the processor and memory. Overclocking was as straightforward as always using MSI Afterburner. The power limit cannot go past 100%, so I left it as is and started with an easy 100 MHz core offset and a 50 MHz memory offset. After playing around the settings, I finished with a 200 MHz core offset and a 275 memory offset. Anything past 300 on the memory was not given a noticeable performance boost, and I started losing FPS around a 275 core offset coupled with a GTA 5 crash using a 225 core offset. So I only re-benchmarked Battlefield 1 and GTA 5 because those are the two games that did not get close to averaging around 60 FPS. So here's a short benchmark reel of those two games. So final thoughts. I'm pretty satisfied with this video card, and I must say that its efficiency definitely shows and proves to be its strongest point. Now, I'd imagine that this video card will be used mostly in HTPC builds or ultra tight budget builds where you only want to spend new parts. Other than that, I'm not really sure where I see this video card fitting into the market. Now, do I recommend this video card? Now, I like this video card, I really do, but it's only good for very niche scenarios like I pointed out earlier. So I definitely recommend spending an extra $10 to $15 for an RX 460, even if it is only the 2GB version, because you'll see a definite improvement in performance. Now, I don't see the GT 1030 being relevant for very long. The only real reason why I think anyone would buy it is if they meet three requirements. They primarily play esports, they definitely need to take advantage of the lower power draw, and they can only spend $70 maximum on any video card. And even then, you can still get a 750 Ti used, so I'm not really sure how this fits. Now, I will make a large comparison video comparing the GT 1030 to the RX 550, the RX 560, the GTX 750 Ti, the GTX 1050, and maybe the GTX 1050 Ti, but that seems like it's in a different tier than all of the rest. But tune in for that video. It should be out in about a week. I'm just getting the parts now. I just ordered the 560, so it should be here in a little bit. But that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like. And if you loved it, definitely subscribe because I have more videos like this coming out in the near future. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.